Series. I'm back with LD and Draskell. Guys, if you're Warriors Gaming Unity, they looked like a nervous team in that first game. What are you looking for them in terms of adjustments here in the second?
I mean, shake it off, you know? I don't think that the style that they played was necessarily bad. I just think that, like you mentioned, there was a couple of times in the game where it was either, okay, so sometimes you genuinely just mess up. It doesn't necessarily have to be nerves. Sometimes you just, okay, I made a misplay. I didn't scout this guy. We ended up losing a hero. We biffed the Roche fight because Adjit, you know, Omni-Slash should have.
Is that a word? Biffed?
Biffed.
Biffed
it.
It is now, man.
Yeah. I mean, it might be. I don't actually know.
That seems like a dad. Something my dad would say.
Okay, they screwed up.
No, I like it. Keep on doing it.
Dota dad, actual dad, like it works.
A replicate game was hard. That's pretty much how their drafts. It just pigeonholes them into this game where you have to literally crush for 25 minutes.
Well, speaking of drafts, I want to get you right into our Game 2 draft because Warriors Gaming Unity have followed the recipe that we talked about in Game 1. They've taken away the Nyx Assassin and the Undying from Faceless. They're two big comfort heroes, and they've picked the third, that being the Warlock. That said, Faceless comes right back with a hero that Warriors Gaming Unity banned in the first phase against them in the previous match. They're taking the Ogre Magi.
You know, definitely still strong laning heroes left in the pool. The Ogre, the first grab, and for Faceless, you can always expect that black hero is going to be picked up relatively late in the draft. This, though,
and
is
now
different.
For something completely different. We have not seen this hero hardly at all in this region.
That's crazy.
I mean, he got the nerf bat pretty hard, right? I'm trying to remember. What exactly did they change with Void?
Time dilation no longer works.
It's not retroactive anymore.
Yeah, it's exactly. That's what I was trying to say.
So basically, you have to have the skills already on cooldown for it to work, instead of you popping it, having time dilation on, and then it automatically affecting you. Yeah, that was a pretty sizable nerf, I would say. But I think that's.
Other than that, though, he didn't get touched, right? So the Chrono is still the same.
Yeah, still
a very annoying hero on the laning stage. Time Walk is still quite good. It's an early Void grab, too, which I feel like if you're Warriors Gaming, given they showed some nerves in the first game, you're now like, what do they plan? You know, why are they taking this Void so early? They haven't shown this at all yet.
The question in my mind becomes, does Warriors Gaming play Naga? Because that was one of the things that we saw over and over again at TI, was the Naga counter to the Void.
What you really meant to ask was, does Warriors Gaming Unity play Pudge?
All right.
That's the real.
Because that's where you pick. You go full wings. But I like the Axe. The Axe is pretty much a direct lane counter to Faceless Void. So if you
and even Ogre is not that great at bullying Axe.
Okay, so I guess the question is this Ice Void? Because I'm guessing it is.
Yeah, I would lean toward that. If Black has played carry Void before, but I just think the Void is so much better in the offlane role right now.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing also about the pick is, again, like, you never really know for sure. You kind of expect it to go a certain way with the lanes, but Faceless is still going to be able to leave you guessing a bit heading into phase 2. And as for Warriors Gaming, they get some heroes that can really punish clumpy melees. Yeah, that's for sure.
I think that Nahaza's on the right track, though. I think Naga is something that the Faceless are going to have to be worried about if they.
Well, they can also pick it. Jabs runs it.
Yeah, I mean they can take it themselves.
Not great against Axe.
They have the first pick out of this phase, so if they wanted to, I think they would probably grab it as their third pick. But
how you lane it becomes a question, because if you get the Axe matched up versus it, we've seen Axes just like dominate Naga in the laning stage.
Oh yeah, any melee hero, you're gonna have a bad time.
Now, you know what I really want to see is a throwback to the old Black Invoker, because the X-Sword Invoker spell combos in that Chronosphere are just off the charts. Now, Faceless, though, has done that a lot less than I've expected. They've not run Jabs in the safe lane very often.
I just think Jabs is a more stable and reliable mid, to be honest.
Agree.
I think Black's been kind of shaky, even with this team, and you put him on like I would say an easier to execute hard carry, like a Slark, or a Morphlane who has lots of escape mechanisms, is going to be almost invariably the strongest hero in the game. You're just putting less pressure on him. And like Jabs on the flip side, to me, he's been very solid for the team, very consistent.
Yeah, I don't think Black has played badly by any stretch, but you're definitely right that Black's always been at his best when he can sit back and pick and choose his engagements. He's not as good when he has to be forcing the action for his team.
That's the only nice thing about having like the bullying lane supports is, you know, he's not pressured to do that much on his own. So Omni Knight gets removed. Worth mentioning, OD is still out there. Yep. And they're going to ban the Morphling instead, but talk about Void combos. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, Morph is solid. I think There's actually a lot that you can do with Void. It doesn't just have to be like a hero that does damage outside of Chrono. Like take for I don't know if it was EG who started doing it, but they definitely did Sven Void a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
And that combination was very potent, and the heroes don't really have any direct synergy. So
Yeah, that was way okay. So explain that one to me, because that combination of heroes was way better for them than I would have thought.
I think it's just because you have to worry about like 2 forms of initiation, and the Sven eventually is going to get Blink Dagger. The Void can set up for the Sven after the fact, and it kind of allows you to close the gap. You know how we talk about like heroes like Bat who want to pull people in, so the Sven can actually hit. The Chrono sets it up in a much bigger scale than just going in with a Bat Rider. So I think that's like one of the main reasons. Plus Void at that point was ridiculous, so you just picked him anyway.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, the first overall pick, Universe Void, ends up like as the most farmed and carry hero in the game from the offlane role. That's certainly sweet.
I mean,
but-
how many different heroes has Universe done that with? Though,
I
over the
mean,
years?
he would like have a big impact on other
That's
heroes,
true.
but Void, he'd actually like just go around solo killing people. So Faceless now. Also Ogre and Void, pretty nice combo with the Bloodlust. So just another way the hero kind of fits in, a little bit of extra synergy there.
Yeah. Again, no, this is, and it was funny because I thought they were breaking with this formula, taking Morphling third in the last draft, but it did turn out that they ran Morphling in the offlane. So the Faceless formula continues where they're picking their 2 supports and their offlaner up in the first 3 picks.
It's frustrating to play against teams that can put a hero in multiple roles and
Yeah.
have it be dangerous like that. That's actually one of the biggest strengths that I think you can have, since the hero pool has gotten so much wider over the last couple of years, that if you can run multiple strategies with the same hero, you kind of have to ban that hero against that team because it makes him too flexible.
That's where the Naga has been really strong. Like, trying to think who's the best example. EG would run it as like a support Naga for Zai, sometimes as a carry for Arteezy. We'll see the Crystal Maiden picked up now for Faceless, so still that threat of an offensive tri-lane is very real.
Yeah, this is, and again, this is something that they've done multiple times, followed up with the Crystal Maiden 3rd pick after opening a lane bullying support and a very strong utility offlaner.
I mean, and also is damage you can dump into the Chrono. If the Chrono's right, like, that Crystal Maiden ult is devastating,
No,
potentially.
we've talked about the fact Nuts is a player that does not skip his ulti on Crystal Maiden. He'll get that ulti around or very shortly after level 6, and he's not shy about letting it go.
It's been buffed so many times, I think it's almost core to get it at level 6,
the
honestly.
only thing that you have to do is you have to buy like some stats.
Right.
It's a lot of mana.
I've still seen some support players putting it off till a bit later, but yeah, I would agree with you. It's a much better level 6 skill now.
It used to be like the skill's garbage. Why would you ever get it?
And doesn't it even like guaranteed hit at the beginning anyway? Like everyone who's in the race gets hit like once, and then it's RNG after that or
I
something?
believe so, yeah.
I don't play much CM, but
I am not a
And
CM
there's
There's
the
the
Naga.
Naga.
Okay.
it makes sense.
It's a void counter. They don't really have the best ways to deal with illusion. Actually, they're pretty poor, and they're not gonna be able to pick a lion or anyone who can instantly kill the Naga illusion. So
Yeah.
if it's a carry Naga, it's great. Even if it's a support, great counter to the Chrono. So I like the Naga pick a lot.
I actually think it would have been better for Faceless to take Naga themselves and then just 4th pick CM. I mean, Warriors Gaming's not just gonna pick CM into a Naga Siren. There's no way you can do that. It's like you'd have 2 heroes that have relatively little lockdown, and you would have been in a position where you have better late game. It's almost impossible to win a 5 versus 5 fight against Naga and Void. And then you'd have this really awkward situation where you kind of have to find an opening to actually win the game, which I think would have been tough.
So
Now-
they grab the Timber.
Yeah, this potentially really throws a wrench in things because Ice is probably, along with maybe a couple others, one of the 3 best Timber Saws in the world right now.
Nah, he's the best.
Does Jabs
You think
play?
it's clearly
he's
the best?
definitely the
okay.
best.
I mean, it could still be an Ice Void. I think Jabs does play Timber.
Wait, who played for eHome? Old 11?
Yeah.
He's also a very
That's
good
the other.
yeah,
That's
he's
the other
also a
name I
very
always
good. I
have
would
in
say
mind.
between those 2, probably.
All right, I like this. It's a support Naga, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
Core Drow and Naga would be very weird.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
It can be support Naga.
You
Yeah,
don't.
I think it's
yeah,
support.
that's what we're
That's
saying.
what you're saying.
That's what
okay.
we're saying.
Maybe it's support Drow, guys. Relax.
Support
Oh,
Drow, dude.
kill me
Meta.
now.
You max Gust and Frost Arrow. Let's do this.
It's almost as good as James's support Quap, but not quite.
God, you know people tried that. Oh my. Alliance did
What?
that.
A team did it.
Oh, they
Alliance
did, that's
it.
right.
Yeah, Alliance did it.
Oh, they did.
And they
With
won.
my nuts.
And then
Yeah.
James
they
is just sitting
won.
there like, oh, I'm so smart. I'm so good at that.
Yeah, and then he has like 700 games of Silencer and he's 4K MMR. So there you go.
Oh, God. We missed you, James.
We do.
Band number 5. Warriors Gaming.
Again, Faceless respecting the Ajit Storm Spirit, taking it away in the last game and banning it in this one.
5 seconds
And
remaining.
Warriors Gaming Unity has already banned the Morphling themselves.
They can still take Invoker, right? Or
Yeah, I mean, it could still be
Faceless
ice. So it could be Ice Timbersaw. It could be Jab's Timbersaw. It could be Ice Void. It could be Black Void.
Ooh, Alcban.
You really don't know.
I guess both teams could take Invoker, but I think it's probably better for Faceless.
So what if they don't take Invoker? Storm's already banned. I assume it's probably a ranged damage dealer for mid.
Yeah, I guess you can Medusa.
Medusa Naga would just make Void so sad.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah, that's
Chrono's
a good point.
so disappointing at that point. They're pretty
5 seconds
ult reliant then,
remaining.
though, between the Dusa Naga and Warlock ult.
They are ult reliant, but there's like almost zero way to kill
Reserve
the
time.
the Medusa.
Yeah.
Because if it's a support Naga, as we say, then use a song whenever Chrono's out, and then there's no follow-up damage, and then the Medusa always gets Stone Gaze off in fights. And you have Rock. Jesus, that's actually so annoying.
It's also a lot of
10
ranged heroes,
seconds
which I
remaining.
think is what you want to have against Timbersaw Void. So
Yeah, we'll see.
OD.
Okay, OD. All right,
That's
all right.
that's similar line of thinking. Just
Much better in lane.
good save for the Chrono, and more like a lower cooldown
Is
one.
it still though? Like OD's laning has just got nerfed so much.
Once he gets
Between
level
the-
3, he's fine.
Okay, all right.
Because then you have enough points for imprisonment to actually be a usable
10
skill.
seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
Because the first level is like such short range. You have to. It's like TA's auto attack at level 1.
Five
It's
seconds
between the
remaining.
between the range on Imprison, between you have to get a point in Orb early if you want to take advantage of the
Reserve
steal.
time.
I mean, we're seeing bottle ODs now, right? Because you have to level that Orb early on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. You get like a
remaining.
DD
And they're
rune.
gonna take Sniper. Oh man!
So this
we've
was-
seen this.
This was at MDL the go-to lane counter to OD picks.
We've seen this in these playoffs.
And we've
as
seen
well.
it a bit in the qualifiers as well, but
Yep.
like it was getting to the point where Sniper was, and it was a lot of the Chinese teams doing this because that event I think had 2 or 3 Western teams and like an MVP or something, and then like 6 Chinese teams.
So is this Black Void, Ice Timber, Jab Sniper?
I think it's Jab Sniper, Ice Timber. Yeah, that would be my guess.
Okay, I'm down. Again, though, the big criticism that I had of one of the big criticisms that I had of Warriors Gaming Unity draft in the
What?
last game.
And Alan's book of
Well, there were
his
only
big
really
book of
2.
criticism.
There were only really 2. It was you give Faceless their 2 comfort heroes to start things off, and then you have
10
Ajit on a
seconds
hero that
remaining.
isn't mobile, that can't necessarily take over the game by itself. And
5
I mean, as
seconds
good as Jug
remaining.
is, as good as Drow is, these aren't heroes that are going to win the game by themselves.
It's definitely the case, as we'll open this one up with a quick pause. So who is playing what? They really took their time selecting the heroes, but yeah, it is the Jab Sniper, the Ice Timber. That leaves Black on the 1 position Void from the looks of things, guys.
I have not seen him play this hero very much.
Yeah, I'm curious as how he's going to build this. I'm curious as to whether he's going to go the no tail build, the early Lincoln Sphere, or it's Black, so he might
You
actually
mean the
Midas.
Shadow build?
Huh?
Wasn't it Shadow who did it, or was that just at TI?
I think it was no tail was the first one that I saw, but
Okay.
yeah, Shadow did it as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that
I just don't watch. I don't watch as much Chinese Dota, so I'm not sure which of them did it first.
This is a really interesting laning phase, I think, for Faceless because they're going to go up against OD with Drow Aura. That's actually not an easy lane at all for a sniper because sniper's base damage is notoriously low. So even if you have the range advantage, you're not necessarily going to be able to get CS. Plus, I think that once the OD starts to get levels, he can outshove you. Although Shrapnel's pretty decent, so
Yeah.
I suppose they have better gank potential with the CM and the Ogre. So maybe Faceless rotations make up for the fact that the sniper might not necessarily have like some crazy mid advantage.
Yeah, that's the big thing I was going to go with, is that it makes a big difference that Faceless have the roaming advantage in this one.
All right, well, quick smoke from the fountain. Let's see where they go. XY TPing into mid. Looking for that ward plant. Looks like it'll be on the high ground. Get some good vision up the hill, and we'll see Kangaroo starting with the Iron Talon Axe, so he's headed straight to the jungle. Not even sending anyone top.
It's probably for the best, honestly. Like, what would he get up there? It's really scary because if you don't have any vision and you don't see either of the supports, one of them can pretty much just send you back to base, especially Ogre. Level 1 Ignite, just punch you in the face. You can't do anything.
And just gonna allow the CM to just freely jungle the Ogre to go and help other lanes, so Faceless probably gonna be happy with that. Does look like Black is kind of dancing around near mid. Maybe a lane
30
swap
seconds
coming.
to battle.
Ice now headed to top, Black to bottom. So
Yeah, I think that
musical lanes right now as they try to get the favorable matchup.
Oh, they want to aggro the drow.
Yeah, they want to lane against the drow for sure. The thing is, though, I don't know if they're going to do a tri-lane. I think that they want Nuts to be able to play it a bit greedy in the early game. This guy always manages to get farms, so...
We've seen some CMs go like offensive enemy jungle and just like farm these camps and then come and help the lane. So.
You can do that as well. The only risk that you run is, you know, Warlock actually trades exceptionally well during the early game, and if you get walked into by him, you're just going to get forced out of the woods. We'll see what happens, though. Are they just sacking black? No, they're sending
No,
people
they're yeah. Sacking black is not something you do.
Normally not a thing, but...
The reason why you could actually do it in this game is because Timber synergy inside of the Chrono is fine, so is Sniper. You have CM ulti as well, so it's
not
actually...
it's not about the hero.
I know it's not about the hero, it's about... I need German efficiency, please give me items. I get that, bro. I've met Black. I know how this...
Right, dude,
I know how this... I was on the panel with him.
I remember, I think it was TI3 or TI4, I forgot which. I was sitting in one of the booths with him after his team got eliminated. And every single time he saw a draft, he's like, they should pick anti-mage. They should pick anti-mage. They should pick anti-mage.
What?
He should be farming more. He should be rushing Battle Fury. Like, why are you getting boots? Like, it was always just like, be greedier, be greedier, be greedier, farm more, pick harder carries. I think this is
the guy that uses jump charges to farm.
Well, that was more to cover his ass. So his team wouldn't flame him. Yeah, we are going to see that OD versus Sniper mid matchup, which a lot of the teams really do consider Sniper as like a pretty hard counter to OD in the lane. And
this is interesting lane positioning.
Once the OD, or once the Sniper gets levels, yeah, he becomes really annoying.
Yeah, it's getting banned a lot back in MDL, and that if you had an OD in the 4th or 5th ban usually. So Nuts will make the journey down. He's now level 2. As the Aura has Frostbite. X-Nova is getting his pulls off for the time being. But there's no vision here. So Afu hangs around, so a full defensive tri-lane as you guys mentioned to expect for the Drow. And this does leave just absolute free farm for a safe lane. Ice Timber looks like... not sure if that was... I guess he spent his gold.
This is a Naga.
Quick suicide, and now Afu, time walk in, Black. Oh, doesn't get in range for the auto attack. Naga with that superior move speed from the Windlace will scurry away.
And 6 base armor. That's a very, very... most other heroes in that position, that's first blood.
Well, Nana is CSing really well mid. He's just getting harassed a lot, but does have the bottle now coming out.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we talked about. The OD is going to have good CS for a while, but eventually the Sniper just gets a couple of points more into Shrapnel, and
he is the Drow, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So already the Bloodlust onto Black.
It's actually tri-lane versus tri-lane. I didn't expect it to actually go this way.
Who wins this 1v1? Timber or Axe?
I think the Timber wins if he plays safe. Because all you really have to do is you just abuse creep aggro, you pull the creeps onto yourself, and then you just never do basically what IceIceIce just did, which is walk into the Axe.
He mans up. He feels like he has the upper hand, and with the Whirling Death, perhaps he is.
He has a lot of regen, that's the one thing.
Yeah.
So if he wants to make those joust trades and then not continually tank, then yeah, it's fine.
But it does look like he's not gonna beat the Axe to level.
Ajit in pretty far here. Doesn't have that pointing gust just yet. Time walk in, Ignite to slow him down, and Ajit in a lot of trouble. There's the heal from X-Nova, not gonna matter.
Oh, but Black will steal
down.
the first blood on the Drow, no less.
And gets the last hit, and while that was happening, OD finds the solo kill mid. Jab's just barely getting picked off there. Nana surviving on 60 HP, and that's only now with the passive regen kicking in. Bottle comes right out along with the healing stuff, so he's got a free fountain trip, essentially. Doesn't lose any experience. Huge win there. Looks like the low ground miss might have come into play.
Yeah, the Naga was actually there, that's why he died. Because that's the only reason that Faceless went on bottom, it's because they saw the Naga going on mid. As soon as he got imprisoned, they pinged it, and then he's like, oh, okay, we can fight 2v3. Then they just go in.
They want to make a move here on Nuts, but great positioning by the CM. Is it? Great, they'll steal his creep. Thank you very much.
Wrecked. But yeah, this middle lane is actually going pretty well for the OD. He's been able to abuse the imprisonment for CS quite a bit, and this is kind of what I was saying is you can still push a lane out pretty well as OD, and you do have the little bit of bonus damage, but he just gets wrecked by Shrapnel and freaking auto attack. Speaking of wrecked.
Afu, no points in the mirror image, so they surround it,
mana.
and they will club him down. Death to the ogre.
Does he not have a stout? No, he doesn't. Okay.
Oof.
No, he went for the Windlace into the boots.
I was gonna say, I thought he might live through that, but he doesn't have a stout shield, so yeah, he just got clubbed.
Yeah, meanwhile, Axe off in the enemy jungle. Kangaroo already level 5 and change. Ice, ice, ice. Right there with him. But we do see a good old surround on Nana, who just goes in on the sniper, is going to end up Astral him and then trying to retreat. Nice play. Rather than just running back and getting slowed down. We'll make it out.
I like Kangaroo's choice here. Just, if you can't farm on your lane, farm the enemy woods.
Yeah, Faceless this time, it's kind of a reversal of the last game. They have the big gold lead early. Their cores are getting more farm, but still not as one-sided as what we saw in game 1.
Yeah, but the difference is that Faceless don't necessarily have a lineup that needs to be ahead at this point, like Warriors Gaming Unity did in the last game.
I don't think it's as like one-dimensional though, because Warriors Gaming have the support Naga that will eventually counter the Void, and they also have that's their disengage. That's their way to be able to catch people off guard as well once BKBs start coming out. Like there's a lot of utility on Warriors Gaming, whereas the last time around it was pretty much just face roll run at you, and if it doesn't work, we just lose.
Yeah, Chrono is just not a thing in this game. Between the Imprison inside the Chronosphere, the Rock Drop and Song, it's going to be impossible for them to maximize Chrono.
You realize now that you said that, he's going to hit
Yeah,
Warlock.
he's going to hit like a 5-man
He's going to hit
Chrono,
OD,
sure.
Warlock, and Naga in the same Chrono, and they're just going to get Timber Sawed. It's gonna be
Caster's
great.
Curse.
Well, good little taste of his own medicine here for Ice Ice Ice. Kangaroo cutting the wave, as Daryl used to do so often in the off lane.
Yeah, this Drow is just suffering down here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, level 4.5, not doing great. She's at least getting her experience, but the CS.
This happens so much to Drows though, and a lot of times
you have to.
A lot of times it doesn't really even matter. Like
Because that mid hero just like gets way more. Although he's not ahead any longer by as much. See Jab's catching up.
He's also tanking shrapnel for some reason, because he's crazy. Oh, he's even trying to bait out imprisonments. What a player.
Oh, Jabs looking for that movement towards the top side of the map, and he is going to get caught here. Call to follow it up. Need those spins from Kangaroo. He doesn't really get any spins at all. In fact, Ice 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 just collects his freebie. Ice Frog does not smile on you, my friend.
Bottom as well.
You have to ask yourself, like, if Nana hadn't tanked that shrapnel and been forced to back there, that could have set something up.
Nuts almost dropping here, and is going to go for the suicide to Roshan, and he gets it too. So nothing really going for Warriors Gaming.
They have Chrono. I think they want to go for this.
Moving on to Ajet through the trees,
they
and Black. He has his ankles broken a little bit, and then Drow right back in, gets the heal off, so he will be harder to kill inside of a Chronosphere. There is a silence available. They're going to move onto XY on the Ogre, then the silence back onto Black. Can they finish him off? Drops the bubble, tries to run. Complete waste. He will make it out, but
He had time walk that whole time, right?
I don't understand why he didn't time walk off the damage and then turn in Chrono offensively.
and they really had no follow-up to that. In fact, they're still going to move in. Chrono's no longer available. XY gets netted and tries to run away, but Nana's there to lay into him with the orbs, and I think gets the kill here. One more auto take. No, they back off! Afu feeds his own life away. Warriors Gaming.
Mom spaghetti
Ay, caramba.
is everywhere. That was actually so many misplays in
It
one
really
fight.
was.
We should have like a little, like every time a misplay comes, like ding, ding.
Yeah, we need a button.
We need a big red button.
That was crazy though, because Black had time walk, and he decided to just Chrono and leave himself at like 40% HP
I mean,
instead
maybe
of just time walking
maybe
away.
he was expecting Ice 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 to come. Like that's their only big damage into the Chrono at this stage.
Yeah, but he's so far away from the tower at that point, and that's something that you communicate. Ice 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 says, "I'm TPing," and then you Chrono, not "Oh, I Chrono."
I don't know. Why aren't you here already, dude?
Yeah, that was really awkward. I'm pretty sure if they had communicated that better, they could have easily gotten kills, but
Well, they're not going to be thwarted by that airball. They'll move right back down to the bottom lane. FL. From right to left on your screen here as they move towards the Drow Ranger, farming her own small camp near the mid-tier 1. Ajit could get caught out. No, maybe not.
Oh,
Great
nice
Gus.
guy.
Has
Very
the
nice
Observer
guy.
Ward on the high ground,
Yeah,
gives
that
him the
was-
vision. And we'll make it out.
saved.
Thank you, supports.
Yeah, because I think Jabs is going to loop around and assassinate if he if they got the spells off onto
Oh,
Ajit there.
100%.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So there's going to be instead a stun onto Afu. Nuts trying to dive this, but the tower is still up. That's not happening.
Man has no fear. Or I guess that man has no fear. He's got two heads.
Or woman in this case, but
Again, though, we're just in a situation where all three of the Tricores of Faceless are farming really, really well, and OD is the only one really keeping up.
I think it's not a game that's, I think, 100% farm reliant for either team. You know, because the draw strategy can still come online, you know, 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Just because of things like, you know, marksmanship. They're going to lose their mid-tier 1, though.
Yeah, sniper's starting to get pretty big.
It's pretty hard, though, because you don't necessarily, even with the drow aura, this lineup doesn't necessarily shred towers.
I mean, that's true, but at the same time, if the axe gets blink and you have like so many methods of saves against Chrono, as long as you're not making a freaking conga line with your team, you're probably going to be fine.
You guys are
like
really tempting the Dota gods with some of these turns of
It's
praise.
actually going to happen.
It's totally going to happen.
It's going to be a 5-man Chrono.
I mean, did you see the first Chrono? It's like, it's got to happen now. He's got to have like a spectacular second one.
I can see that Vlad's build for black is truly embracing the All-Flame Void. I was halfway expecting a Midas, not gonna lie.
Dude, Midas Void is actually so bad.
This is black we're talking about.
But honestly, it's actually awful.
Oh, Jib will move in mid. And he's gonna work on Jabs here, but Jabs is quite farm with that Ogre Club. They're gonna need a lot more help if they want to kill him. He just keeps on chasing. He gets the TP forced out, so he'll be happy with that. Assassinate?
No.
Yeah, you get the hell away from me. The Quelling Blade Drow.
The problem that Warriors Gaming have right now is they're not actually pressuring anywhere on the map.
Yes.
They're 3-man farming a freaking large camp while their tier 1's dying. Like, come on.
And you've got the Drow Ranger on your team.
Yeah, this is not the play.
I mean, OD's at least getting around. You know, he was bottom, he was mid, now he's top.
Yeah, exactly. And he just hasn't accomplished that much in any of those locations.
They're just waiting for the blink axe.
Alright, he's seen the sights, guys.
That's just it. They have Golem now. They're gonna have blink soon. Oh dear God, Afu, please hit level 6. He's level freaking 4. It's 11 minutes in.
Oh.
He absolutely needs to hit 6. If they're gonna fight, they need Song.
Well, they do have the Rock. That's something.
But that's not gonna counter Chrono.
That's alright, Black's just gonna Chrono. His team's nowhere in sight, it'll be fine.
Yeah, that was something.
It was. I mean, the funny thing is, it was still a 3-man Chrono.
Yep.
It was a bad 3-man Chrono, but it was still a 3-man Chrono.
I guess. If we're going by statistics, that means that his Chrono was good, right?
He's more likely to have he's due for a good one, guys.
Yeah, that is absolutely how statistics work, LD.
I'm just trying to trigger Nahas, guys. Got to get a few drinks in him, and then I'll
pick it on the
get all red in the face. Dumbass LD. Wouldn't be the first time been called that.
Dude, just tab out. I'm sure there's at least a couple thousand people who say that.
After that little exchange,
Yeah, of course. Sure. I mean, when you serve it up to him like that, yes.
Warriors Gaming, they seize control of their own jungle, boldly dewarding as a 5-man unit. And they are close to the Naga level 6, but they're not there just yet. They even have an Observer Ward. It sees Black. This is like the dream scenario. Blink call, but XY's there. He stuns Nana, can't get the follow-up in time, and maybe they get the Ogre, but they really wanted that sweet Void booty. And the dunk, complete airball. Kangaroo, another call. Finally, we'll bring the Lumbering Oath down. Just all these little things. Warriors Gaming not quite connecting. A 5-man smoke, and they get only an Ogre out of it.
I mean, I think the smoke was more just to reestablish control of their side of the map. So getting a kill, I think, is still fine, because now it just buys even more time to get the Naga Siren song.
We need to talk about something.
What's that?
Ice has a Bloodstone.
Alright, it's 13 minutes in.
Okay, well.
He won.
I mean, he had a soul lane.
You know, no one else won, but he won.
Yeah. And he's not really going to need his Void to do anything except Chrono at this point.
Yeah.
No, they've got plenty of damage that, unless those counters for Warriors Gaming are there, they're going to shred. No, that's the thing. To me, it's telling that when you're 5-man smoking at 13 minutes just to take back control of your own jungle.
But it's a move that you would.
Oh, you have to do it. You absolutely have to do it. It's just you don't want to be in that situation to begin with.
I mean, this game is actually a lot about vision too, because
that's true.
You need to be able to see like what hero's initiating, so you know the Warlock knows and the Naga Siren knows when they can go in and get their spells off. So if you don't have that vision established already, which they just got dewarded as well. So they're getting constricted on the map, and Faceless just seem to be, you know, there's no answer. I mean, they haven't lost a tower either.
I mean, that's very often the case with these kinds of lineups. I mean, the biggest play of the Manila Major was Matoma and Slark providing vision to set up the 5-man Ravage.
So they start to strut up here. Faceless getting a lot more active on the map. And they just siege with the Dragon Lance Sniper. Working on the tower bit by bit. No real sign of a defense yet. They do have that Soln and Rock online, but Warriors Gaming with minimal vision in the area are not confident to defend this thing.
This is actually the beauty of the sniper pick, though, because, you know, Warriors Gaming Unity, their team functions best when they are being ran at, because they have so many ways of disengage and so many ways of saving. But if Faceless just sit there and let the sniper hit the tower from outside of tower range, you can't go on it, because then they are the ones who can get better counter initiation than you, and you're just pulling your supports into a bad position. So they did pretty much the only thing they can do, which is trade. I mean, high ground's going to be a little bit of a different story because the sniper is going to eventually put himself in a dangerous spot. But I think that Faceless are a disciplined enough team to just say, okay, well, if they're not going to contest us, we'll just maybe go for Roche instead.
Yeah. No, that's a really good
They
point.
are a pretty slow Roche lineup, to be fair.
It's slow, but they have a Vlad's. So even if it's slow, they can have, you know, ice, tank it or whatever and just kill it. It might take like an hour, but, you know, it'll work.
Well, we'll be here all night if that's how long it takes.
No, it's not even going to be that slow here in a couple of minutes. Sniper's farming well. He's going to have a damage at him up.
Now it's actually has something coming now. It's going to be a Mithril Hammer.
Just going for that zap.
Maelstrom.
Yeah, makes sense. They don't actually...
Yeah, I like Maelstrom Mjolnir a lot. He could also...
It could be
Desso's
Desso.
not awful.
Yeah, it could be Desso.
And that could be the actually, I
kinda
like Desso better. Yeah.
It's
Because
better
that's
for
the
push.
solution. That's the solution to their Roshan problem. It's the solution to their tower hitting problem.
Yeah, that's very true.
Oh, just free farm now for the cores of Faceless. Do you see Warriors Gaming not as confident in their movements? Just Afu creeping out a bit bottom, trying to get his levels. Mask of Madness to grab for Ajit, and a late one at that. Ugh. This is really falling out of favor on Drow players. Generally you see that like super tanky build, but he is going for ultra mobility and farm speed here.
And you know what? I actually dislike it even more without the Dragon Lance. If you want that Mask of Madness on the Drow, you got to have that Dragon Lance just to give yourself that little bit of extra buffer. And even the Hurricane Pike, it gets you those. It makes sure that you get those 4 attacks off really fast before you lose vision.
I would counter-argue that having those types of items would be good if you didn't have 3 methods of saves on this team.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
And plus, it's the best item in terms of farm efficiency for the slot and the cost.
Ajit isn't really being pressured for now. He's actually going to group up with his team as Warriors Gaming descend on this bottom tier 1. Looking for their second of the game. Last game they already had 3, and maybe even a 4th by this point.
Yeah, this could be really dangerous for Warriors Gaming.
They recognize that. They're going to back away as soon as they see Sniper as well as Timbersaw there, but Daryl's on hot pursuit, going to buy the blink. Looks like he will be content with that threat of a jump and then just back away.
I want to sort of bring back this point that Drasko made earlier that I thought was really important, that it's wonderful that you have all of these saves on your team and you have all of these mechanisms to deal with Chrono, but that doesn't matter if you're the ones having to initiate into the other team.
Yep. It's really tough because you have to have the Naga, like, the Naga has to be positioned perfectly. The Axe needs to get a good target that you can actually kill with his jump. And then the rest of the team doesn't necessarily have follow-up even if you do get a good Axe call. It's pretty much just the OD. I mean, granted, he has the best item, I think, for this situation, which is Force Staff, so he can actually help close the gap. But if that hero doesn't die in a call, your fight, you pretty much have to abandon it right there. It's just over.
Afu almost gets deleted by Ice. We'll TP out in time. You can see the confidence with which the Timbersaw lumbers about the map, and they will begin the Roshan now after cleared out the Ancients.
Yeah,
Yasha up on black, and they'll move into the pit.
It's very... Oh, he didn't go blink. Interesting. Okay.
Ice Timber with this kind of lead is just terrifying.
And the late game for Faceless, just the raw physical damage of 2 right-clickers, Void, Sniper with Bloodlust, that's pretty terrifying. Not to mention the Timber, who's their most farmed hero.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily going to get any easier for Warriors Gaming, especially considering the rate at which they are farming. I mean, they're on the back foot, so they're the ones who are taking the less efficient farm paths. They don't have really as good a vision out on the map, and they're obviously not going to be able to contest this Roche, or at least they don't look like they're going to. I don't know if there's anything that really happens in this game that just decides, okay, now we have something that we can fight with, because they pretty much have all their tools. They just needed levels. they needed Song, they needed Golem, and they needed Blink on the Axe. That was like their criteria in order to fight.
And we just haven't seen anything out of them since then.
Yeah, it's a pretty slow-paced game, and I kind of get where they're coming from. It's not easy to jump Faceless with their lineup, especially considering the heroes that you want to kill are the tankiest heroes.
I mean, it just hurts when you draft all of these tools to deal with Chronosphere, and there has been one Chronosphere.
They were expecting, I think, a much faster paced
yeah.
game. Like, they thought that Faceless was just going to run at them, which is a fair thing to say, considering the Void and the Timber and the Ogre.
But at the same time, they haven't done that much in these playoffs. I mean, Faceless has been a team that's played very... I wouldn't say that they've played passively, but they've made other teams come to them by and large.
Yeah, they normally tend to have that really like aggressive lane in the off lane, but then the rest of it's really passive as they move in. Blade Mail up now, and the early dunk there. A quick chopping out.
Bashed.
Wants to retreat, and not gonna happen. Hey, Bubba. Kangaroo, try hopping away. That's not gonna happen. He'll fall. So they pop the Aegis, and Aegis, which had 4 minutes left. But that's it.
It's not bad, honestly. A 1-for-1, if you want to call it that. And I don't think that, you know, Warriors Gaming are really going to be able to do much other than that from their position, because here's another thing too. If your lineup doesn't have really good catch, then you need to be able to have wave clear to push the lanes out, to open up opportunities for you to actually take smaller fights, so you can actually win those skirmishes. So finding like picks like that is probably one of the better ways that they're going to be able to fight until Faceless start trying to break their high ground. But it's not easy because they just don't have the best heroes at pushing out the waves.
Yep.
Man, you gotta love that 1090 attack range on the snipers. You see Nuts caught out a bit by Nana. May go down, only this little CM though, and no, the turn. Oh god. Oh golly gee, the Chakram still gets the kill, even through the song, so the song not wasted. A frantic retreat. Jabs there, looking for an assassinate. He'll find it too, jumping over the top on X Nova. The chain's not gonna connect. He could turn and drop the rock, but it would be for naught. He won't bother, so it's 2 down. Yet to see that Warlock Golem have any real impact this game.
Yeah, and it really is a problem as well that Warriors Gaming Unit only have 1 ward down on the map. They're fighting nowhere near.
I mean, that's just what happens when you're behind.
Yep.
You put down a ward at some point in the game, assuming that, you know, you need that vision to be able to continue to farm. And now it's just a situation where they're just stuck in their base. It's kind of weird because, you know, a lot of games you watch and you can look at one point in the game and say, okay, this is when we lost. But these types of games are really hard to analyze because it's like, at no point in the game did Warriors Gaming actually feel like they could do something. I mean, sure, once the Axe got a blink, you could say, okay, now they should smoke, now they should fight. But they tried. It's just that they were never able to really find an opportunity where they could go.
Oh my lord.
Well,
right.
it seems Rob is having some issues, guys, but Warriors Gaming currently getting run over here on the top lane. Ajit will get finished off, and scrambling to retreat will be the Naga. So, Faceless now start to descend on that top lane, and they are going to move in on the tier 2. This is the last outer tower remaining for Warriors Gaming. Looks like it's slated to fall in short order.
Ice Ice's Timber has 210 CS, and the next closest is Sniper with 140.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, I mean, that Timber free farms, like, 3 farmed his lane. And I'm pretty sure, did they deny the top tower or did he get it? I can't remember.
They think they got it. Yeah,
Okay.
Last 2 were taken by the Dire.
So, yeah, when you get that kind of start, he's even going for the immediate Aghanim's after Bloodstone, so his contribution inside of the Chronosphere is going to be even more devastating. I guess that Faceless actually exposed a pretty big weakness in these types of drafts where you're actually countering the Void with Naga, and that you don't have to play into the Naga. You pick a hero that can high ground without committing, and then it's fine because the fight never kicks off. And if the fight never kicks off, you're never in a situation where the Naga is going to be able to counter your Chrono. It's actually pretty ingenious.
Apologies for the technical difficulties, folks. I'm sure we'll get them sorted out shortly. In the meantime, not missing a whole lot, just Faceless calmly farming. And it looks like probably waiting for the next Roach before they go for that high ground siege. See Black cleaning up the Ancients, completes the Manta. Normally the Diffusal will be the next choice. The Hurricane Pike finished up on jabs on the Sniper. Yule Scepter, grabbed by Ice. along
Oh
with
wow,
a
That's
point
interesting.
booster.
Yeah, we thought he was going to follow up immediately with the Ags, but he goes
Well,
for the Yules.
I mean, the Drow Silence is like the only way he dies, I think. So,
Yeah, but even with that, I don't think he would die.
well, certainly with it, he's not. So he'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, casual point booster is always good on Timber anyway. It's not like bad to go for another item. I actually think of this is the more aggressive choice because he obviously has the money to buy Lotus, and Lotus is the better defensive item. But the Chakram actually just lets you kill, and plus it's actually really good against Axe because if he blink calls and you Yules him, can't attack him. Blade Mail does no damage, can't spin. It's a really good counter item.
Well, we'll see. Oh, won't see. We'll hear Ice Ice Ice
All right, LD, you got to give
hiding
us
in
like
the trees.
Yeah, you got to.
Rob, you might have to restart the whole stream at this point. I don't know what the hell you're doing, but well, let's stop giving the viewers epileptic seizures, and we'll take it down. We'll try to reboot the encoder. We'll come back because they're not watching the game anyway right now. So yeah, sorry guys. We'll be right back.
No, we still have our Dota TV audience following along, I'm sure.
The beauties of Dota TV.
Yeah, I'm having trouble even seeing a win condition right now for Warriors Gaming. They really, I think they just need to go all in and commit to this next Roche fight.
I mean, yeah, that's the highest probability that they will win is if they can somehow take a Roche fight. But that ain't gonna be easy either.
Nope.
The path to victory is
But that's like the one circumstance where you know that you can force Faceless to fight into you and use that Chrono.
yeah, I suppose. But the other thing that's scary is, you know, Dire Side actually has much better points of engagement than
Exactly.
Radiant. So even though it is technically the best choice.
And they know it too. Look at the number of sentry wards around the Roche pit placed by Faceless. They really want to make sure that Warriors Gaming Unity are not able to set up that perfect engagement.
Yeah. I guess the other thing too, and we're talking about like win conditions or whatever. Afu's actually got 3,700 gold. So we are looking at a transitional Naga Siren going into the Radiance and potentially being able to be that hero who does push out the waves, which clearly they are lacking right now.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I mean, it's a long time. There's no question about
But
that.
it's there. It's there. That's what's important about that one fight is that you have a condition, something that you can make happen afterward.
Right.
Oh
dear.
Well, that used to be Nana. He will self-banish. Kangaroo with the call. They might get the ult
No,
Not
the time
enough.
walk.
Man, that was close.
Almost gets 2 or 3 and ends up with nothing. Now the chase on the Afu. Because of the Son available, he's gone for the Relic. He's trying to transition into a very late carry as he jukes Ice 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 out of it. Normally it's Ice 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 doing the juking, but not good enough. Yules is there. Gets the catch. Now the jump forward. Cleans him up. And the Assassinate just marks the tombstone.
Yeah, and you really see what Draskell was talking about with the aggressive potential of the Yules there.
Yeah, canceling TPs is nice on Timber. That's pretty much the dream. And since he's already so tanky, it's not like having the Yule sacrifices any of his durability.
So Faceless moving into this top lane right now, working on the tier 1 tower. Or sorry, the tier 3 tower. Excuse me, Ice Ice Ice. Way behind, he's the zoner. And he's also looking for kills. He finds X Nova. The Blink Call's there to turn this around though. He may have to Bloodstone deny. He's very tanky, but that Drow Ranger hit pretty damn hard and he will suicide. Wastes as much time as possible, makes it out safely. Now Nana moving in. Quick jump forward.
Have to be careful about this chase.
The stun, the bashes coming in, and OD deleted from the fight. Kangaroo's there, it's too late. A solo rock, looks like no real follow-up. They end up losing 3 heroes, and now the chase onto the Drow Ranger. She will go down as well. It's a massacre for Jabs, who's not been scratched in these fights. It's like the sniper is utterly uncontested. Ice 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 with the respawn. He jumps in, BOTs forward, throws the Yules up. He pumps a double buyback and then scurries away. At this point, I think it's fair to say, gentlemen, Faceless is just styling on Warriors Gaming.
You can almost hear the team chat there where they're screaming, Chrono's down, go, Chrono's down, go, Chrono's down, go. But you're also going into an extremely farmed Timber and Sniper that have favorable position on the high ground, one at a time.
Well, I think the biggest problem was he has Force and Blink, and he used both of them to get in.
Yep.
And now he's like, oh wait, my team doesn't have Force and Blink. I'm literally 10 miles away from the rest of my heroes. Yeah, that's something that you see happen a lot, actually. It's just I know I should be fighting right now, so like your instinct takes over and you're like, okay, this is where I go. Because I have a lot of farm, I'm a core, I am power, oh god, there's 4 heroes.
I am
Where's
power.
my team?
You know,
Yeah.
I know Chrono's down. I know I have saves on my team if I get into trouble, but still, they don't have the kind of mobility.
Yeah, Apu wasn't anywhere close. He didn't even pop song. Like, he didn't... He walked straight back to base, and he sat in the well while his OD was devoured by 4 members of Faceless. That's pretty much how that fight went. It wasn't the best communication I've ever seen, but... Yeah, Roshan gonna be up real soon here.
Yeah, so I believe at this point, welcome back everybody. Not sure how much of that you caught exactly, but Faceless did just take down the melee Rex top. Ice 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 died with a Bloodstone Suicide. He almost instantly respawned, BOT'd back in. They forced 2 buybacks after killing 4 on the back of an overextension from Warriors Gaming, who are now trying to play for the late game. Afu is going back for a very late Radiance on his support Naga Siren, but he attempts this from a 25,000 plus gold deficit, 25,000 plus experience deficit. I mean, hell, the enemy Crystal Maiden isn't that far behind. The enemy Ogre is ahead of that Naga up until just 1 creep ago. This is feeling like a very unlikely comeback, guys, but it's really all they got at this point.
And this might be the worst consequence of all that just transpired, is that the one opportunity that Warriors Gaming was going to have to set up that great fight where you can display the song and imprison counters to the Chrono was that Roche fight, which goes uncontested.
Yeah, I think rough game would be an understatement here.
Yeah.
I mean, how did they even kill Ice Ice Ice? OD still does a pretty good amount of damage, sure, but...
I mean, the sniper actually killed him pretty fast when he didn't have the reactive armor stacks, but...
The sniper, you mean the Drow?
Or, sorry, the Drow.
Yeah.
But she's so easy to kill, right? She's got the Mask of Madness, 1300 health. As we will see, Nana caught out of it. That's the Hurricane Pike, but Ice 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 is gonna try to force the TP, and he'll be successful in that. Meanwhile, Sniper...
Oh, Axe.
Pew pew! Take that, you wanker!
And he did.
And
No buyback.
the old man is looking increasingly fearsome now, as an Eye of Scotty is nearly ready to go. This sniper is gigantic and has just not been threatened at all this game. Finally, the Radiance comes out, but those Naga illusions are going to be pitiful, even with the Radiance complete.
There's just actually no way to go on the sniper. That's the biggest problem.
They're just they're such a reactive lineup by nature. Like, you could sawn into rock, I guess, but then you have no disengage.
Yeah, but I mean, this is one of the things that makes Faceless Draft so good, is they're exploiting the weakness of Warriors Gaming, is that they are all saves.
Yep.
There's no aggressive potential outside of one thing.
Quick little Hurricane Spike action, and
you're
the Jet
not
says,
gonna win that, man.
"Lol, I'll take you with me, brother."
Yeah,
Still has the Aegis.
Go ahead and imprison yourself into double chakra.
Pew pew, pew pew, and then he's out of there.
Middle barracks are under attack.
And Japs, buildings can't run, even if the heroes can. So Afu, a last-ditch song, gonna prep for that rock, look for the fatal bonds here. It is level 4. How good's it gonna be? A decent 2-hero connection, but then he gets the lead and punished for his insolence, and the Golem just as quickly will fall. The Chrono over the top. Frickin' G, Faceless, have completely incapacitated Warriors Gaming and sent them packing to the lower bracket.
I mean, I just want to point out that when you have Blade Mail on Axe, not only did he go for a hero that had an Aegis, but he went for a hero that had more health than him with the Blade Mail. Turns out you don't win that trade.
Woo!
You also just